political analyst Brian Sobel. Brian, I'm going to go with Javier Becerra right out of the gate here because he had the momentum with that Swalwell dropping out of the race last week. Did he hold his own tonight, or did he lose ground?
No, I didn't think he had a good night, to be honest with you. First of all, he's a target of several other people on the stage, and I thought he fumbled a couple of the answers. We'll see whether he rebounds, as Greg points out. More debates to come, but this wasn't his finest hour tonight, Mike.
And you really heard the audience. You heard one of the audience members today say, look, that was a little bit of a mess. You had 8 candidates on stage trying to all, really kind of get their name out of there. There was only the barrier that they had to have a 1% in the polls, and so really you had all of them up there, but not a lot of time for each one of them to really make their mark. Who did stand out to you, and was that too many candidates on the stage?
Well, to answer the question about too many candidates, yeah, there were 8 people on the stage, but I thought the moderators, Claudine, did a fantastic job. They held them to the time limits that they had all agreed to. They went through all of those topics that Greg outlined, and there was a whole lot of content if you could listen between the back and forth sorts of things. Steyer is up there with Hilton leading in the polling. He was certainly a target there tonight. Katie Porter went hard at him on making money. Steyer continues to be the fellow who says, there's lots of billionaires, or there's billionaires, but I'm the good billionaire, not the bad billionaire. And what I really thought was good tonight overall was all of these issues in California were discussed. The previous debate, it really focused on Donald Trump primarily and Washington, D.C. But voters, and there are 25% of undecided voters, who are now starting to look at these people on the stage very, very closely, and they have to deliver content. And I thought there was some more content tonight, and we saw that on display.
You talk about those undecided voters, Brian. I mean, early voting starts next week. So of those undecided voters, I mean, who are they going to vote for? Of those 8 candidates on stage, who will benefit the most after tonight?
Well, I think Tom Steyer will do well. He's spent $135 million. He's on the airwaves 100% of the time. I think he'll benefit. He didn't have a great night either, by the way. I thought he held his own, but he didn't knock the ball out of the park either.
What about a Matt Mahan, who kind of is that so-called moderate out there?
Yes. If people are listening to Matt Mahan and they like a moderate, he's their guy. But he's not polling well, and he's got to really break out. I think Greg and both of you are pointing to something that's so important here. There is very little time, and these people have to break out. We didn't see a breakout performance tonight by any stretch.
And the California Democratic Party has been pushing and saying, look, some of these people who aren't breaking out, who are lower in the polls, should be dropping out. At this point, does it even matter? Do you expect some of these candidates who are still in the single digits, if another poll comes out, to say, okay, a couple of debates have gone before these next debates, maybe we should bow out and step back because of those 8 candidates, only 2 are Republicans, the rest are Democrats?
Right, and it's kind of fascinating to watch, right? From all the pressure the Democrats have put on these Democrats for 3 or 4 to drop out, it hasn't happened. And for whatever reason, somebody like a Tony Thurmond stays in, Villaraigosa stays in, not polling at all. You could even say that about Mahan in single digits. But again, time is running out, and if people are watching, and they are, they know who the leaders are generally, and that's who they're going to vote for. So you're going to have certainly the Republican Hilton there, who's about 1 percentage point in a poll that I just saw today over Steyer, and then it kind of starts going down from there. Bianco is in there. Becerra certainly is in there. So, they have to coalesce, Democrats do, around a couple of people, and I don't know whether they can do it. I don't know whether they can convince people to leave the race or announce, I'm out, I support so-and-so.
Real quick, one for the road here, Brian. You mentioned the 2 top Republican candidates. Of those 2, who shined tonight between them?
Oh, I think it was Steve Hilton. I thought Bianco was sometimes a little out of order in terms of trying to shout out or shout down somebody else. But I thought Hilton kind of kept it right down the middle. He's a very smart guy, make no mistake about it. He knows and actually schooled Becerra on the Constitution, the state constitution, around declaring a state of emergency. And that was one that I didn't think Becerra did very well on. So Hilton just kind of kept it down the middle and keeps himself in the race, at least for Republicans.
All right. Well, a couple more debates to go, and I'm sure people will be watching closely as those ballots get ready to go out. Brian Sobel, we always appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Brian. And you can find more coverage of the race for California governor on the Fox Local app, including